Hello everyone, welcome back to Study Tips for IGCSE Biology. Today's topic is related to cell. Without further delay, let's begin. Chapter 2 outline will be discussing about the structure of an animal cells and a plant cell, the function of the different parts of animal cells and plant cell, and how cells are organized into tissue, organs, and organ systems, and how to calculate magnifications using micrometers. Let's begin with what is cells? Cells is the smallest unit that can live on its own and that makes up all living organisms and the tissues of the body. A cell has three main parts: the cell membrane, the nucleus, and the cytoplasm. Okay. And let's see about cell structure. Okay. Cell structures are very, very small. Some organisms are unicellular. Bacteria and yeast are examples of single-cell organisms. And by using a light microscope, we can magnify about 1,500 times so that all structures can be seen. So, if you use this with a light microscope, you can see this type of animal liver cell. Okay, which on the center part, they like a nuclear and nucleus. They have cytoplasm, they have small vacuole, and also cell membrane. And if you see the palisade of plant cell, mesophyll, you can see until to the detailed parts of the tiny part of the cell. And also this diagram, it shows the snapshot of the trachea of a mama cell, where it goes a cell membrane, nucleus, cytoplasm, and so forth. And also these are the Chloroplast plant cells. This is the diagram of animal cells and the plant's leaf cell. Okay, let's look about what are the cell membrane. What does it mean by the cell membrane? If you can see the cell membrane, okay, where the animal's cells also got cell membrane, and also the plant also got the cell membrane. Okay, what is a cell membrane? A cell membrane is the outermost, is a very thin layer of protein and fat. And it is important to the cell because it's control what goes in and out of it and will let some substances through, but not others. This is called partially permeable. Inside the cell membrane, yes, is a jelly-like substance called cytoplasm, and which are found in many small structures called organelle. And this organelle is usually a nucleus. Cell wall. From the diagram, we can see the plant got cell wall. What happened to the animals? Animal doesn't have cell wall. A plant cell surrounded by cell wall made mainly of cellulose. Animal cells never have cell wall made of cellulose. Okay. Cellulose belong to a group of substances called polysaccharides. And cellulose form fiber which crease over one another to form a very strong covering to the cell. The reason being is to protect and support cell. If the cell absorbs a lot of water and swell the cell, stop it bursting. Because of the space between fiber, very large molecules, then makes them are able to go through the cellular cell wall, and this is called fully permeable. Cytoplasm. What is cytoplasm? You can see from these animal cells got cytoplasm, and also plant cells also consist of cytoplasm. So cytoplasm is a clear jelly, and nearly 70% is actually water, and it contains many substances dissolved in it, especially protein. So many different metabolic reactions, the chemical reaction of life, take place in cytoplasm. Vacuoles. If you can see, the plant's vacuoles is bigger than the animals as compared to the animals. So what is vacuole? A space in a cell surrounded by membrane and contain solution. Plant cells have very large vacuoles, contain solution sugar and other substances called cell sac. Animal cells have smaller membrane bound space called vesicle, which contain food and water. Okay, let's look into the chloroplast and nucleus. Chloroplast never found in animal cells. You can see from this diagram, there's no chloroplast in animal cells. Most of the green part of plants have chloroplast. Because why? Because plant contain green coloring or pigment called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll absorbs energy from sunlight and for the purpose of making food for the plant. So this process we call photosynthesis. Chloroplast contains starch grain which has been made by photosynthesis. So some animal cells do have granule, tiny grains of another substance similar to starch, which is called glycogen. So glycogen found in cytoplasm. What is nucleus? Nucleus is where the genetic information is stored. If you can see, animals and plants consist of cell nucleus. So the nucleus is where the genetic information is stored or kept, and it helps the cells to make the right protein. And the information is kept in chromosomes, which are inherited from organism parents. So the chromosomes are made of DNA. Chromosomes are very long, so thin, and cannot easily be seen even using electron microscope. But when the cell is dividing, they become short, thick, and can be seen with good light microscope. So what it tells here, chromosome cannot be seen using electron microscope, but it can be seen using good light microscope. And when we put under good light microscope, so it can be seen like the size is a very short and thick. Okay, let's look some of the example or some of the differences between the plant cells and animal cells. As I already briefed just now, what we have on the plant cell and what we don't have in animal cells. And what do, for example, like plants cell have cellulose, cell wall outside cell membrane, but not animals. Animal cells do not have cell wall. And what plant cell have? Have a cell membrane. How about animal cell? Animal cells also have cell membrane. You can see from this diagram as well. And plant cell have a cytoplasm, and animal cells also consist of cytoplasm. Same thing goes to nucleus. Plant cell consists of nucleus and animal cells consist of nucleus. And how about the differences between plant cells and animal cell in terms of chloroplast? Chloroplast contained in plant cells, but not in animals. Why? Because plants made photosynthesis. So that's why plants often have chloroplast which contain chlorophyll. Okay. The other part is vacuole. We're already talking about vacuole. What is the difference vacuole, animals, and the plant cells? Plant cells often have large vacuoles containing cell sap, but animal cells have only small vacuoles. Okay. And plant cells often have starch grain, and animal cells never have starch grains. Sometimes have glycogen granules. And plant cells often regular in shape, and animal cells often irregular in shape. Let's look into mitochondria. Where is mitochondria located? Mitochondria are found in almost all cells except those of prokaryotes. Remember type of prokaryotes? So it is a very such powerhouse of cells. So inside of it, it's oxygen, which is used to release energy from glucose. And this process is called aerobic respiration. Cells that use a lot of energy have a lot of mitochondria. Example, muscle cell. Muscle cells consist of a lot of mitochondria because they need to use in many activities, such as sperm cells need energy to swim to the leg. Nerve cells need energy to transmit impulses. So below diagram is the what we call it, mitochondria in different position. So this is where we use this light microscope, where we can see until to the extent where glycogen, okay, glycogen, mitochondria, the cell. We enlarge the cell. We can see the glycogen, mitochondria, cytoplasm, and even nucleus. And as we know that granule of carbohydrate is called glycogen. And this is also a cell with membranes of mitochondria and cytoplasm. And next is ribosomes. Ribosomes, even tinier structure than mitochondria, can just be seen with electron microscope called ribosome. Okay, we can see this ribosome by using light microscope. So they look like tiny dots attached to the network of membrane that run throughout the cytoplasm. And this network, we call it as endoplasmic reticulum. Ribosomes are found in all types of cells like bacteria, prototists, fungi, animals, and plants. Ribosomes are the place where proteins are made by joining amino acids together in a long chain. And this is done according to instruction carried on DNA in cell nucleus. Okay. Micrometers is the unit where we calculate cells. So cell and structure inside mitochondria, ribosomes are so small, and we need a very specific or very small unit to measure them. And the most useful one is micrometers. As you know from the formulas is 1 micrometers is equal to 1 times 10 to the power of -6. meters. So 1 meters equals to 10 to the power of 6 micrometers. This is where the we can say that the terms of cells and organism. Okay, tissues. Tissues means that a group of cells with similar structures working together to perform a shared function. For example, a group of cells, like for example, of a tissue, a stomach. Our stomach contains of tissue. And tissue is a layer of cells lining in your stomach. So, there is also a muscle in the stomach wall made of cell which can move. So this muscle tissue makes the wall of your stomach move in and out, churning the food and mixing it all with the enzyme. Okay. That is part of the human being. For example, like plants. Plants also have tissue, right? So inside the leaf, a layer of cell made up a palisade tissue, which the cells are specialized to carry out photosynthesis. And organ, what is organ? Organ is a structure made of a group of tissue working together to perform specific function. Okay, for example, the stomach is an organ, and other organs include the heart, kidney, lung. Okay. And in terms of plants, a leaf is also another example of plant organ. And next we go to organ system. For example, what is organ system? Organ system is a group of organs related to functions working together to perform body function. Example, the stomach is the only one of the organ which help in the digestion of food. The mouth, the intestine, and the stomach are all part of the digestive system. So the heart is also the part of the circulatory system, while each kidney in parts of the excretory system. So the way in which organisms are built up can be summarized like cell make up a tissue, which make up organs, which make up organ systems. And that's all for this topic. And I believe that biology, more or less, is not like mathematics, where you do have to perform more exercises. Biology is more on, first of all, is more on understanding. And secondly, you have to memorize the scientific terms. That's all. Thank you for listening.